A Cuppa Joe Nintendo is powered by the You, Me, and Capri Patreon. We want to say thank you to some people, starting with our Diamond executive producers, Slimer Snarf, Lee Navarro, and Jonathan Brown. Then we have our Platinum producer, Robbie Bobby Miller. And then to our Gold level patrons like James Johnson, Nasty Boots and Tammy, Brian Turford, Egg Shen, and Joel Brooks. Thank you everyone for all of your support.
So here's the question, Sean, that I have for you. How much do we give companies a pass when they do a game, right? They kickstart the game.
Yeah.
It gets all this money, does all really well.
Yeah.
And then the port is worse than the original.
Mm-hmm.
And the original was on inferior hardware.
Right.
And I'm talking about the Wonderful 101.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, apparently some people are saying, like, the frame rates are really bad. Like, it's not that cohesive. Now, obviously, to you, like, full disclosure, I haven't played the game.
Yeah, me neither.
I've considered picking it up, but I've also considered I'll wait for it to go on sale, especially now that I'm hearing this stuff. Like, I just don't understand that thinking. Like, why would you put a game out that's not doing well on the hardware?
I mean, I hate to say it, but is it a cash grab? I gotta wonder if it's did they launch right alongside on PS4 as well, or is that coming later? I can't remember.
It might be coming later. I don't know.
Because in any case, like, the Wii U was what it was, but like it should always run better at this point. But it got good reviews, man. Like, IGN gave it a 9. And it was like, I mean, this is a different kind of conversation, but it's the whole, like, different reviewers, different scores kind of thing, but same kind of game. But it's just interesting. I think you actually chalk it up to, like, the Switch effect in that case.
Possible.
Just, the Switch is popular, Wii U was not popular, and there's always, like, this lift or ding depending on what side of the fence you are. And I feel like Xbox is having the same thing. It's cool Xbox is getting cool again, so games are getting a little bit more favor in that way. But I don't know, honestly, dude, it's like Wonderful 101, just you and I have talked about it, like, it does not like interest me very much.
It does nothing for me. And the only reason why I even consider rebuying it was I was like, well, maybe I just didn't give it the proper time. You know what I mean? But then I look at it and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I just gotta, I don't know.
You have so many other games to play. Like, that's the thing, is like,
do I? I don't have Animal Crossing.
I mean, you have a lifetime, I guess, still to go on Animal Crossing.
Stop, man.
I know.
Why?
I know. And it's funny because Chelsea's getting more and more into it. Like, as time is going on, like, she's slow at it.
It's a slow burn, man.
It is a slow burn for her. She's like, she's like, here's my beach. She's just starting to show me her beach and everything. And I'm like, well, I feel like people have been building their beaches for a little while now.
People have been really neglecting the beaches. I gotta tell you.
Oh, really?
I gotta tell you, beaches are like the last thing. Yeah.
Well, that's where she's at, man.
It's pretty, dude. It's so, dude. I don't know what it is. Like, I literally cannot stop playing. Like, so last night, we can talk about this a little bit too. Last night we played with some friends.
Yeah.
Golf with your friends, the game's called, and we started playing that, and, like, I had a blast playing with my friends.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is like, in the back of my head, I felt like I was cheating on Animal Crossing.
Oh my god.
Like, I didn't want to do it. I kept thinking to myself, like, man, Tom Nook is gonna be so mad at me when I go back.
Oh, stop! No way. Did you really feel that way?
I felt like I was cheating on like a spouse.
It didn't feel good. It didn't feel like, oh, maybe I should. Maybe I should branch out a little bit.
And then I jumped into Splatoon for the Splatfest, and then even that made me feel worse. And I was like,
but Splatoon is great, and you have lots of great memories for it. I know, but Splatfest is back, and
I just had to get away.
It didn't feel good.
It felt really dirty, man.
Oh my god, we're uncovering something here.
This game is so addicting, man. I can't stop.
I think it's dangerous. I think that's what we're
not really. Not really.
I think it might be dangerous for you.
Possibly. Dangerous to go alone. You should come with me, Sean.
I don't think so. I don't think so. It sounds terrible. It sounds like everybody is. It sounds like the 80s and everybody's on cocaine right now. And I'm just like, I'm walking into the room and seeing like lines everywhere and there's just parties and girls and everything. I'm looking in and going like, no, thank you. I'm just gonna walk right back out. Stay straight, man.
You're such a loser. So, but golf with your friends. Let's talk about this.
Can we unpile this?
So this game was given to me by the Nintendo dads to do a review. I just want to disclose that. So I didn't pay for the game. It was a free game. But everybody jumped on board with it, like Rybo, JB, you, Jamsy. And we played together last night. And I gotta say this. The first game I played with Rybo and Jamsy, we had a blast.
Yeah.
The course wasn't super hard.
Right. It was a pretty typical mini golf course.
Pretty much.
Maybe a little fantastical.
A couple little difficult areas. Not that bad, but like we were getting it. We were getting good at it. But the whole time it was just like, what? Where do I hit the ball? What is going on? Like, there's a problem with the game in terms of like it doesn't show, it doesn't show like the course that you're getting right there. So you have you're shooting into the blind. It doesn't even give you like a top down view to be like, this is the layout. Yeah. Like, so it becomes very frustrating very quickly.
Yeah.
And when you play the harder courses, it's like you want to smash stuff. I literally at one point stopped talking for like 10 minutes because I was just brewing inside. I was so aggravated. And I'm like, this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. No rhyme, no reason. I don't have necessarily a problem with the mechanics. I think the mechanics are they're different. They've changed.
But I think you could. I think I wouldn't be surprised. Like if that's I think maybe the layered. Maybe there's layered problems with this game, and that you get to like even how the ball feels like when you hit it. Yeah. Like it feels like you just smack the shit out. You know what I mean? Like it just launches, man. There's no like smoothness to it or anything. It's just like the ball is stationary, and then it is like it's going. Yeah. And I think it's really hard to judge how to tap, especially when you're kind of closer to the hole. Yeah. It's hard to just kind of like tap it in. Really easy to kind of skip it on over and everything.
It would be even cool to be like if they put a flag on, like golf games do. They put it when you're putting, they put the flag to show, okay, here's the power meter. This is about how much you should have. It just
because generally like you have basically one camera angle and it's right behind the ball, and it would be nice just to be able to like flip through like either a straight top down or maybe a bit further out so you could see even the course too, and so much of like the mini golf experience too. Like you think about going mini golfing, Bobby goes on a special little date with me or whoever it is, and you go to mini golfing, and it's the whole like what does the course look like? It's usually like kind of a sight to behold. And so you kind of miss out on that one with this. If you're gonna not be golfing and just be strictly just doing mini golfing, like lean into the mini golf experience of it a little bit more. Exactly. But dude, like you can play with like 12 people on this game. Yeah. You can load up like a bunch of people. Well, so that's, I think, it's the with your friends part that I like. Yeah. It's the golf part that isn't quite so hot.
So let's break this down a little bit. Where there are some things that they do very, very well, and we got to give credit to that. The fact that like when you're playing, joining up and creating matches and stuff is really super easy.
Pretty easy, yeah.
Rybo had it together in a second. It doesn't really function off your friends list. It does, but it doesn't. Like, you don't have to, like, do all this crazy stuff and put codes in and all that. You just click, 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 boom, done. Were you playing on your Switch or were you playing on Xbox?
Yeah, no, I was on Switch. I also got a code for this game as well. So, yeah.
And then what happens is, but the problem is no voice chat. So we were in Discord, and then we wound up switching to Skype because Discord's a pile of trash. And then, so that was basically where we went with all that. But it was good. So if you want to see the gameplay footage, it'll be up over on the Nintendo Dads this week. So I don't know what day. I'm gonna actually put the video together and send it over to the Nintendo Dads. But if anybody wants to see that, that's where it's gonna be. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's a good thing.
I have a conflicted relationship with it, man, because like some of those courses are kind of fun, and you can learn to kind of figure it out, right? Like you can have like you can go with the free cam and try and, but even the free cam is a bit janky.
Well, it's
and trying
weird
to figure
too.
out how
They
to
give you
use
the
that
free
really.
cam. It gives you 15 seconds. It's like, what is going on with this? It's
Well,
so
I kind of like
weird.
that it keeps you from really holding up the group, right? Like there's a couple times where I could have really just been like scoping out the whole thing and plotting out what I was going to do, but then that timer runs out and all you guys are like, I can see your balls kind of like all flying at the same time, which is great that it's like simultaneous multiplayer, but we're not waiting for like typically golf games you'd go like this guy, you're watching this person shoot and then the next person would go like it's pretty fast action in that way. But yeah, it definitely feels a little bit more like is it a mobile? When you were talking about a port at the start, I thought you were talking about this game. I think this game used to be a mobile game.
I think it was.
Yeah, and I think it feels that way. But I always look for a type of game where, like, where can we play with 12 people all at the same time?
Yeah.
You know, you're playing Splatoon and it's 4 people, unless you start a room and then, like, you kind of need 8. You need very specific numbers when you're playing some of these different games. So I'm not deleting it off my Switch just yet, but I'm not sure how many. It seems like there's just a deluge of golf games all of a sudden. Golftopia, I think Donnie's talking about golf with your friends. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
There's a bunch of stuff coming out. What I really want is okay. So let's talk about this. Don't know where the conversation comes up, where to put this conversation, but this is the conversation we're having, so I'm going to jump into it.
Okay.
This is what I want. I want Mario Golf mechanics.
Yeah.
In Animal Crossing's world.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I want the ability to play with the aesthetics of Animal Crossing.
Sure.
Like, you're playing and maybe there's different characters walking around and stuff. Like, I think that they could really because I think it could be a really good thing for that franchise. I love Mario Golf. I love the mechanics of it, like how you hit, how you do all that stuff. But I just think to myself, like, man, if they still do Mario Golf,
this is actually a genius idea.
Keep your Mario Golf thing, do that, whatever. But like, have Animal Crossing. I feel like Mario Golf got Mario Golf because they slapped Mario on everything, and it was the most popular franchise. It's the mascot. I get it, but man, let's start branching out a little bit. And I feel like Animal Crossing sets itself up so perfectly with golf because it's a chill, laid back. The music is real chill, and the vibes are real chill. Like, dude, and that you could actually have courses.
You can make your own course.
Well, that's another thing. Could you get
terraform
in there
your island into a golf course?
Yeah. Could you actually terraform the island, or terraform and create the golf course? But all I want is I want it to look and play like Mario Golf. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of like those mechanics of Mario Golf are spot on. And they're perfect. But, like, go in, you create your villager, which is your player. And then you play, and, like, Tom Nook runs the golf pro shop where he sells you balls and golf clubs and stuff like that. And, like, Isabelle is, like, you could pick your favorite villager to be your caddy. Like in Hot Shots Golf.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like,
such a good idea.
Oh, my God, dude. I keep thinking about this, and I'm like, where do I bring this out? Where does this this thing that's floating in my head, how do I get it out? Nobody wants to hear it. Like, not that nobody wants to hear it, but like I'm thinking, do I do it in a video? And then it just popped up here, and I'm like, this is ideal. This is the perfect time to do it. But I would love this, you know?
I think a lot of people would love that. Like, I'm picturing kind of like what Golf Story did with golf too. Like that perspective is kind of the same as well, and it's still sort of like you're still kind of wandering around. Like, if you don't necessarily like if you want to just drop a ball and play, you could play.
Yeah.
And I feel like that actually translates really well to Animal Crossing. And the whole thing that you can basically do whatever you want in Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Why not add that to it? Like, everything has been kind of expected in terms of like terraforming unexpected. That's something that we didn't have before. But like, what else? Like, what other activities can you do on the island? Whatever. You should
I'm not.
let
me just explain this. I'm not saying to do it on the island. I'm saying just make your own Animal Crossing golf game, and then like maybe there's a side thing where you can build your own courses, and then you can share the codes and people can come play your courses or whatever it might be. But I think ultimately, if you just take the aesthetics, the way the grass looks, the way everything looks, you pop all this in and you go like, here it is. Here's the golf game. This is the golf game of the future.
I think it's genius.
Because I think there's multiple.
Think it's genius.
there's multiple things you can add to it. Like, you can steal stuff from Hot Shots Golf. You can steal stuff from Mario Golf, which is basically Camelot makes. They made, I think they did quite a few of the Hot Shots Golf before they pulled out and started doing the Mario Golf stuff. I could be wrong. Donnie will be screaming at us in 5 minutes on Twitter that I'm wrong.
We should just have him like live listening to the show.
Yeah, it's like, Donnie, to us. Donnie, if you remember like Around the Horn or whatever, or and
Tony.
Yeah. Not part of your interruption, and it had the fact checker come at the end of the show. That's what we need. Donnie needs to be the fact checker.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's to me like that would be.
That is such a good idea. When did you think of that, man? That's actually genius.
I literally thought of that like a week into playing Animal Crossing.
Really?
And I was like, I should do a video on this. And I was like, yeah. But nobody's gonna watch the video. Nobody cares because like most of the people that play Animal Crossing, I don't know, are into golf. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I'm like, but I know that it would pull a lot of people into the franchise that aren't like. That's the appeal to it. You know what I mean? Like, you get this game. Like, think about it. Like, that's why Nintendo slapped Mario on golf. That's why they slapped him on baseball.
He's so popular.
And strikers and all that stuff. Like, it's a popular thing. And right now, is there anything more popular than Animal Crossing? And that's what I look at. I go, here's an opportunity for Nintendo to take this franchise because of the way the aesthetics and the way it plays. You could spin on that and do all kinds of craziness with it. And like this could be like they could make an Animal Crossing baseball game. You know what I mean? Like, literally, you could do that. You have 400 villagers. You could literally be like, okay, this guy's statistics are this, and this one does this, and this one. Dude, you could have a blast with it. So I feel like there's so many things that they could do with the franchise. But for me, the music vibe, the laid back attitude, it just screams golf. Like, it just screams golf. So
just have some of those. Just have the sexiest villagers in a beach volleyball game.
Oh, God, please stop it. Okay. Anyway, man, I also saw that 2K wants to bring more to the Switch. So they're bringing BioShock, Borderlands, and XCOM 2. My question to you is, out of those games, BioShock, Borderlands, and XCOM 2, do any of them get you hyped to be like, I would either want to revisit or I want to check it out? Or,
well, all of them are actually really great games. Borderlands I've played the absolute mess out of, with Chelsea, both 1 and 2, just platinum both on PlayStation. So I think, like, personally, I think I'm kind of done on the Borderlands front. XCOM is a game that I really, really like, that I think maybe one of the reasons that I haven't really like dived into it is because I didn't have it on the go. So it's sometimes I trick myself into thinking that, though, where I go, like, maybe I just need this game on the go, where Persona 4 Golden is a good example of something I put like 90 hours into that game. And I'm like, I attribute a lot of that to playing it on the Vita. Or Breath of the Wild, like the amount of time that I put into that game is probably like 70 or 80 hours. Still didn't beat it, but I put a bunch of time into that game, probably because I was playing it on the bus. And so examples like that are like, maybe I do need some of these games not on, like I've got XCOM on my PC and on my Xbox. And I bought them in both cases. Like, I like that kind of game, and I just got distracted with doing something else. So XCOM is up there, and BioShock is just, those are some of the best games ever made. Like, those are some of the actual like greatest games that people can play. So I just don't know if I were to revisit them if the Switch is where I want to do that. But I'm excited that, you know, how many 55 million Switches out there or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably just staying in Nintendo land while they're playing Nintendo consoles. Should definitely branch out and play BioShock. That game, especially the first one, if you've never played, I am jealous of the people who've never played BioShock and who have a chance to play it for the first time, because BioShock that's a very, very special game, and there hasn't really been too much like it since. Even Infinite doesn't really match up with the original BioShock. Yeah. But they're all like, I think that's a great collection because all those games are like completely different. Yeah. And all very, very good. But I don't know, man. Did you ever play BioShock or anything?
BioShock's first person, so I can't mess with it. So that's one. That's one that I won't even touch on this. Same with Borderlands. I think Borderlands. So I won't touch either of those. XCOM though, I got to tell you, Toby used to talk a lot about it to me.
XCOM's great.
And you know, I think I'm gonna go that route. I definitely, definitely gonna pick up XCOM. It's a shame. I would love to play BioShock and Borderlands. I love Borderlands aesthetics. I think it's just amazing looking. It looks like a great game. But I can't with the first person shooter stuff. It just
that sucks. Oh man, I feel so bad.
It does.
But for multiplayer, like it's great, and for co-op and everything, like just to run around with friends and everything. Like I'm trying to think, racking my brain if there's anything else like that on Switch, and I don't think there really is. Like that was like the first looter shooter, like something that like really became more popular in the more recent years. Like that was back in Xbox 360 and PS3 days.
Yeah,
you just go around, get great loot and great gear, and share it with your friends, and just endlessly shooting things. It is so much fun. So I'm glad that that's coming to Switch, but probably. I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to Xenoblade coming out in just a couple of days here. I am all over that one.
I will say this: I am starting to lean to it. We talked about this before. I played the first one 2 times now. I played it on the 3DS, played it on the Wii U, which was a direct Wii port on the Wii U. And I really got pretty far into it. I want to say I got probably 40, 50 hours in, something like that. So it was a good chunk. I loved it. Loved it, man. And to me, the storyline, very good. The voice acting I felt was very good too. I love Shulk. I think Shulk is a great character. Because you got to put it in the time preference, you know what I mean? Like you got to put it where it is in time. And I felt like at that time, that was Nintendo diving into voice acting when it was just starting to happen, and they did a good job with it. I feel like there's emotion that gets brought out in it and stuff. It's not the greatest voice acting in the world, but it's really good. The storyline is really good, and I'm like, man, I want more of this, and I'm
a total newcomer to it, man. Like honestly, like I've seen it. I've seen like Shulk obviously with like I've got the amiibo and I've seen him in Smash and everything. But I'm a total newcomer to this. And when they announced it at that Direct a little while ago, like I didn't realize that was the setup for it. Like I didn't realize it was so epic. Like obviously it's big and the world is large and everything, but I didn't realize kind of the whole backstory to it. And I was just like totally won me over. And I have to imagine that there's a lot of people who are getting into Switch now for the first time, or maybe coming back to Nintendo after a long absence and like completely missed on Xenoblade. I think it's gonna be pretty big, man. I think it's gonna be great.
I agree. I think it's gonna be one of these epic. I mean, I already know it's an epic game and it's an epic tale, and I think it's it's dropping. It's one of these things that like I didn't expect it to be now. I expect it to come out at the end of the year. But it's dropping.
It's perfect. I was gonna say, is it perfect timing? It's perfect timing for me, but is it perfect timing for you or anybody else? Like
it's not for me.
Is hardwired addicted to. You guys are gonna have some sort of like methadone treatment to get off of Animal Crossing to get onto something else.
You're right, but the thing is like for me, it's a game that I'm interested in. Yeah, I will buy it. I'll just set it aside. I'll definitely rally back to it at the end of the year. I feel like because I feel like December is probably the best time for me, because I feel like by the time December hits, I'll be playing Animal Crossing, but not as crazy as I was. So for me, that's perfect. That
I really doubt that. I think December is going to be crazy in Animal Crossing. I think every season, like we're still in the same season as when the game launched. Yeah, like you're about to hit summer pretty soon.
Spring and summer are my times to play Animal Crossing. The winter, I'll go in, I'll do daily tasks, get my stuff done, and then I'll go play. I'm telling you, I know.
And mark my words. No, there's gonna be something unexpected, something that.
Oh, maybe.
What are those gyroids or whatever? Those things everybody wants coming back.
If Brewster comes back with that, oof. that'd be something special.
Did you see Gary Whitta is doing an animal talking show? He's doing the podcast. He's got like Shaggy or somebody coming onto it. He's got like actually like giant names coming to this pod, and they're like announcing music projects and everything on this.
Well, here's the thing.
He stole your idea, man. He stole your idea. It's Breaking Bells. It's Nook Talk.
Yeah.
But it's Gary Whitta and a bunch of celebrities.
But the thing I'll say is Gary Whitta and a bunch of celebrities doesn't have the number 2 podcast in Animal Crossing.
It's true.
So he can have that name. He can have his fun. He can have Danny Trejo and all that stuff. But you don't have Bobby the Nintendo Guru.
Does he really have Danny Trejo?
Yeah, he's coming.
That's awesome.
It's so dumb.
I love that.
It's so dumb. But it's whatever. It's fine. it's cool. It's just showing to me the extent of what dude. There's literally, I think the coolest thing right now with Animal Crossing is these different designers are coming in. They're taking their real life apparel, they're creating it in game, and then they're putting it out there for people to scan it in and put it into their stuff. Like, it is, some Canadian company just did it last week, or this past week. A couple weeks ago, Marc Jacobs, a big fashion designer, he did it. Like, there's all this implementation of real world stuff into it.
Yeah,
I think that's the coolest stuff. It's so funny that businesses are now trying to figure out ways to leverage Animal Crossing.
That's what Pokemon Go did, man. That's kind of like back in the day. That's like Pokemon Go was like people were trying to figure out how to get the I can't remember what they were called, like try and get the Pokestops with it, but also when you had like the lures around, like so you had people like walking into your business and everything. Like when it hits that level, like you got to wonder what, like that the whole golf conversation I think is really interesting. Do you think that mobile had anything to do with this? Like, it's, we all kind of like laugh at the mobile app.
No, I really don't.
Like Zero, it was like a non-factor. It's got to be some sort
I don't think it was Zero. I think it was definitely a lead-in for some people, or a holdover for some people. But like this game, actually, when it came out, this game drove the sales over on Animal Crossing Pocket Camp.
But numbers, it was so fast. It was so fast in like 3 days. So like that's just from like where did those people come from? Well, right, is kind of my idea.
Because here's what happened. So they did some in-game crossover stuff of items. So people that bought New Horizons downloaded Pocket Camp in order to get these items. The items were free, but I think what happened was people were like, "Hey, let me just check this out." And then, boom. And now the other problem, too, or not the other problem, the other thing is, because people can't get Switches, now they're just going and getting Pocket Camp kind of to hold them over until they can get a Switch and get Animal Crossing, which is a whole nother dynamic when you think about it. Like, I'm thinking, it's funny because if you remember pre-launch of the Switch, everybody was like, oh, Nintendo's going to do a fake shortage, a false shortage and stuff, and do the same thing that Nintendo does and all that stuff. And, like, they didn't. They were pushing them out, and they were doing everything they had to do. And now we hit a point where, again, we're hit this shortage because the factories got affected in China. And now it's like, well, what do we do? You know what I mean? And it's crazy to think that, like, this console has already sold 50 million units. And it's going into a point where everybody still wants them, and they can't get them, which is going to drive up the fervor that when they finally do release the hounds and open up the gates and let people go into stores, Nintendo's going to be sitting in a perfect spot because everything they put out is going to sell. Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, man, they're in a good spot. It's like demand is actually accelerating at this point, which is nuts. Because like, what's coming out? Like, what is? It's just Animal Crossing, and it's not. I don't mean to be like disparaging about it, but it's just like it seems kind of counterintuitive, right? Like that there isn't this huge just bunch of games happening. There's not even any announcements happening. Like, we're not even getting our Nintendo Direct, and there's very good chance that we won't get anything in June or anything like that. And it's like, what is driving this? And I think it's just
because you normally think about it, right? Normally at this time, people are like, "What's the next game? Where are we going? What's the next?" And nobody's even saying that.
Right, like all your typical excuses for like not buying, like basically what happens at Xbox Line is like, prove to me why I need to buy this game, and like nothing is good enough. It's like Game Pass and all of these things are there, and people are like, still not convinced. And then in Nintendo Land, it's like nothing's coming out for a while. There's maybe a rumor about some Mario stuff happening, but we can't keep these things on the shelf. Like you can't find these things at all. So it's just nuts. It's crazy, man.
I don't know.
You gotta have one for everybody in the house.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
because you can only have one island if otherwise.
I have two islands. I have an island on this baby now, and then I have an island on my other one. Anyway, all right, I gotta go, man. I ain't got time for this.
Golly, man, I just got here.
Well, you know what? Sometimes, Sean, you have to have other priorities in life.
That's true. I look forward to seeing you on Sundays, man. It's nice.
I look forward to seeing you
and then just gone like the wind.
I know. I'm sorry. All right, I'll see you later, buddy.
I just don't give a damn.
See you later, buddy.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to A Cuppa Joe Nintendo, a production of the You, Me, and Capri Patreon. If you like the show, you can support them at patreon.com, You, Me, Capri. A Cuppa Joe Nintendo is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and all of your other podcast services. Be sure to follow Bobby at Nintendo Gurus on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. For everything that Sean does on the internet, follow him on Twitter, at Sean Capri. Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. Also, twitch.tv Sean Capri. That is all. Peace out, Preston.